Hello and welcome, this is Benevolent History here, and I'm here to give you a commentary battle on the grassy flatlands. This is a 2v2, I'm playing as the Greek city-states, and my ally here, who's in the same clan as mine, his name is, you can see here, Total Rebel Hannibal. He's commanding the Britons. Our opponents, I know they're from the Hell clan. The Seleucid player is Fabio, and the Scythian player is Megas Alexandros, or something like that. They're playing as the Seleucids and Scythians respectively. Anyhow, my Greek army consists of 6 units of armored hoplites, gold upgraded, 5 units of regular archers, gold, 3 units of Cretan archers, they have a gold attack, 6 units of militia cav, obviously a light cavalry component, and these guys have gold upgrades essentially. Sorry about that. And Hannibal's taken 6 units of slingers, gold with an experienced chevron to keep them in the fight, and 6 units of barbarian warlords, which are very tough chariot units. I think about gold attack upgrade, 6 units of head hurlers. Hannibal's gonna keep these guys in the back. These guys are gold attack, and 2 units of barbarian light chariots on the flank with gold attack upgrades only. Now you can see Hannibal doing his pre-deployment, just playing around with his units, putting them into loose and tight formation. I don't know why, but whenever you constantly switch your units from tight to loose, they keep on moving around like that. It's pretty mesmerizing. Hannibal has a lot of fun playing with these guys, you can see here. Anyhow, at the beginning of the battle, I use my phalanx and stretch my phalanx out, probably to the thinnest of its ranks, so that I can encompass Hannibal's slingers and my archers. Hannibal will place his slingers in front of my infantry. My archers will be behind my infantry. My Cretan archers, I'll eventually send them to help Hannibal in his horse archer fight. I also will send 4 units of militia cav out to support Hannibal, because the battle begins. So Megas Alexandros here, playing as the Scythians, brought 2 units of Scythian noble archers, 2 units of chosen archer warbands, 4 units of warhounds. Pretty interesting choice, although I don't think I would have chosen warhounds against Britannia. 6 units of head hunting maidens, probably all gold, and 5 units of archer warbands. Fabio has a Seleucid army. Fabio's commanding the Seleucid army. He has 4 units of silver shield pikemen. Looks like a gold attack, silver defense, or the other way around. And 6 units of archers. 2 units of heavy cataphracts. 3 units of militia cav, and 3 units of side chariots. Now let me pause this for a second. Now, in my opinion, Fabio's army here was what he chosen was kind of like a balance, or kind of like a balanced army. In my opinion, Fabio should have gone either infantry heavy, either 6 units of silver shield pikemen, or he should have gotten side chariot heavy. That is, he should have brought 6 units of side chariots, 2 units of cataphracts. However, Fabio's opted for a little middle ground, bringing militia cav. In my opinion, bringing these militia cav are totally useless, because Megas Alexandros here is going to bring light cav anyway, so there's really no point in Fabio bringing militia cav. He would have done better in bringing more infantry or more side chariots. The reason is that Britannia here also is a chariot faction. So if Fabio brought an infantry heavy army, he could have countered these barbarian warlords, Or, in my opinion, he should have chosen a side chariot heavy army in order to counter these barbarian warlords. Plus, if he used a side chariot heavy army, he would have had the faction would have had a missile advantage, because Megas Alexandros here would be playing as the Scythians, and the Scythians have an immense missile advantage over the other factions. However, unfortunately, it looks like Alexandros here has opted for 7 archers instead of 8. Anyhow, after a little criticism of the armies, Hannibal places his slingers in front of my lines. We don't really do this perfectly here, because Hannibal here has been playing too much Shogun 2. He hasn't been playing enough Rome, so he's a bit rusty, I would say. I also positioned my armor hoplite quite awkwardly here, although I do rectify the situation later. Yeah, if he had bought 6 side chariots, he would have been able to counter Hannibal's barbarian warlords. Even though barbarian warlords are better than side chariots, they could have probably pulled it off. In my opinion, even if he brought like 6 silver shield pikemen, it's probably not the best choice, because I was playing with the Greek city-states, and armored hoplites are better than silver shield pikemen in a one-to-one engagement, of course. So Hannibal here engages with his British light chariots. However, he kind of makes a blunder here in that he doesn't send them in right away, and this allows Alexandros to shoot some vital missiles into Hannibal's light chariots. This, of course, decreases the hit points of Hannibal's chariots, and these guys will fall very, very soon. I also found pretty interesting the choice of Scythian noble archers by Alexandros. In my opinion, I think that Alexandros should have just picked regular Scythian archers, so he could have afforded that extra archer unit. But oh well. Scythian noble archers are basically long-range archers that are heavily armored. These guys are pretty good, pretty decent. And you can see here that Alexandros sends in his warhounds. In my opinion, I don't think he should have picked these, because I guess what he wanted to do was send these warhounds in and chase down these British light chariots, because it's difficult to stop warhounds, because you can see here they just keep on running at these guys. But Hannibal and I devised a pretty good strategy for dealing with warhounds. Hannibal sends his light chariots back through my phalanx line. I'll put my phalanx line in phalanx formation and totally devastate these poor poochers. So you're gonna see a few skewer dogs today. Anyhow, what our opponent should have done at this point was send the Scythian noble archers, send the horse archers out against at least my Cretans or these slingers and my archers. However, what they do is just sit here and shoot at my militia cav, which is fine by me, because these militia cav are not that good. So I put my guys to phalanx formation, and my hoplites will easily deal with these poor poochers. So you can see a few dead dogs. Kind of sad if you're a dog lover. I'm sorry about that. Anyhow, so a little breathing room. I pull back my militia cav, and the killing will start soon enough, I guess. What is he aiming at? He's aiming, yeah. The Scythian horse archers are aiming at my militia cav, which in my opinion is not a good target. He should be targeting either these barbarian warlords or my Cretans, or these archers or slingers. Those are better targets. Also, he does never mind. I would like to also mention that Megas Alexandros makes a good decision with his chosen archer warbands. I don't know if he does this right now, but he eventually puts his chosen archer warbands off of fire at will, and forcibly shoots with his archers. He commands his archers directly, which is a good tactic when you're saving ammunition. And so with these chosen archer warbands, he's able to, Megos Alexandros is able to devastate Hannibal's British light chariots. They did a really good job in destroying Hannibal's light chariots, and Hannibal, being pretty rusty, didn't really do a good job of saving up his light chariots. Instead, his light chariots die essentially, which Hannibal will be okay with. So we do a little skirmishing back and forth with my militia cav and his militia cav. So even if he squandered his money on militia cav, he's still using them pretty decently. However, what our opponents do was they kind of isolated the men. You'll start to see in a moment. So what Fabio does here, he starts to get a little bit too aggressive with this militia cav soon. Oh, they're pulling back a bit. I know Fabio is sending one of his side chariot units out here because he sees that Hannibal's sending some of his barbarian warlords. In response, I'm going to send up a few Cretan archers units to hopefully shoot flame arrows at these guys. So at this point, you can see Fabio moving up his militia cav. I think at this point, no, okay, this wasn't it, because there's at one point when Hannibal and I choose to rush our forces at these light cavalry units. Because in my opinion, I think that Fabio would have done better to send some silver shield pikemen up over here, because the silver shield pikemen will be able to defend this area much better than one unit of side chariot units. So Hannibal and I go into an attack. We go ahead and rush at these light cavalry units. We manage to catch one militia cav, and that militia cav just gets totally devastated. Poor militia cav unit just got slaughtered, and Fabio and Alexandros managed to pull back the rest of the light cav force, which is good for them. So you can see my Cretan archer unit moving up. It's going to unleash a volley of flame arrows at these side chariot units. Whenever you're using long range archers, be sure to target these side chariot units whenever possible, because they're really good, valuable targets. So at this point, Alexandros sees that my Cretan archers are vulnerable, so he sends out his headhunting maidens out to rush at these Cretans. I get aware of his plans, and I retreat my Cretan archers, but my Cretan archers get shot in the back. Ooh, poor dude. That guy got shot in the back. Anyhow, how about what Alexandros does is he makes a huge blunder in the fact that he sends his troops too far away from Fabius's troops. The reason why I really wanted Fabio to send his silver shield pikemen here. If I was him, I would have done the same, because without those silver shield pikemen, Hannibal and I basically have the full room to rush. There's nothing really stopping us. Sure, you could argue that these two units of side chariots are here, but two units of side chariots are not gonna fight off like four to 6 units of barbarian warlords. So these side chariot units rout immediately. Hannibal and I charge in all of our cav units. We totally devastate a lot of Alexandros' headhunting maidens. So you can see here we pretty much devastate his chosen archers, although Alexandros does manage to retreat his chosen archers. And we charge at these Alexandros' and Fabius's headhunting maidens and totally devastate the troops. Alexandros, however, does manage to retain 5 units of headhunting maidens at the end of this engagement, but 2 of them are heavily damaged. Fabius also lost one unit of side chariots, and I know this unit of side chariots will probably going to run amok very soon. And infuriatingly enough, Fabio doesn't do anything with the Silver Shield pikemen. He really should be moving these Silver Shield pikemen. Or he should have gotten some levy pikemen or phalanx pikemen, that is, cheaper phalanxes to defend Alexandros' men. Because even levy pikemen and phalanx pikemen will kill barbarian warlords very easily. Will kill any chariot unit easily. With the phalanxes, of course. So I guess this is a little breathing room that we have. Hannibal and I pull our forces back. They pull their forces back. Though in retrospect, I think we should have rushed up sooner. Yeah, actually, yeah, we rush up right now at this point. I told Hannibal to rush up. He's a bit slow in responding. But if Hannibal eventually sends the slingers up in front of my phalanxes. So I'll skip ahead to something more interesting. I think at this point I'm rushing up my armored hoplites, and Hannibal is also rushing up his slingers at the same time. I mean, if you're gonna rush up to Archer War, for example, you want to rush up all your troops at once, because that way all of your missile units will be in range at the same time as their missile units will be in range. So you could see here that Hannibal rushes up his slingers. Hannibal makes a slinger line up in front. My archers with longer range than his slingers are behind. My phalanxes are in the middle. So this is a nice combining of all forces to so that even though Hannibal and I control two separate different armies, Hannibal and I managed to form our troops all into one mass and create one unified force. That's basically the essence of team battles. You want to pull up a unified front. So Fabio sends a cataphract charge, but I see this and I rush up my armored hoplites in, and Fabio does a good thing. He retreats his cataphracts. So Hannibal and I at this point decide to rush at Alexandros' men. This is just, yeah, definitely Fabio should have had at least a few levy pikemen or other pikemen here, because without those pikemen, extra pikemen, or without an abundance of side chariots, there's really nothing stopping Hannibal's rush of barbarian warlords. I guess this is with all chariot factions. If you're up against a chariot faction, you need either heavy infantry, you need either phalanx troops or chariots of your own to counter your opponent's chariots. This is one of the reasons why Rome, for example, is very vulnerable to chariot rush. Because Rome has no phalanx troops, Rome has no chariots, so Rome's very susceptible to chariot rushes. Also, you could argue that heavy missile troops are able to counter chariots, I mean side chariots, for example. Scythia, for example, can easily counter Seleucids and the Pontus to a certain extent. Anyhow, Hannibal and I basically rush up all of our troops. Even though Hannibal's rush, I personally think Hannibal's rush could have gotten better, because if you saw, Hannibal kind of stopped his chariots in the middle of his rush, which in my opinion he shouldn't have done. But Hannibal does get the job done, even if he's a bit rusty. Hannibal does get the job done. And Hannibal sends his chariots in. You can see here that Fabius fails to put his men into phalanx formation. He eventually does it, but he doesn't do it immediately. This allows Hannibal to push through his men and attack these cataphracts. Even if these cataphracts are like the toughest heavy cav in the game, these heavy cav just turn tail and run against chariots. So what did our opponents do what could have our opponents done? Well, in my opinion, Fabio should have either brought a heavy infantry opponent, he should have brought more phalanxes, whether it be levy pikemen, silver shield pikemen, phalanx pikemen, it doesn't matter. He should have brought either more phalanxes, or he should have brought a much bigger side chariot component. 6 side chariot and 2 cataphracts would have been very good. Instead, Fabio brought a balanced army, which against against a Britannian opponent is not the best move. Also, Megos Alexandros should not have brought those warhounds. I guess Alexandros planned for those warhounds to go ahead and attack Hannibal's chariots, but the problem is that those warhounds are not as good as one would hope. Yes, they did cause a few casualties. They did cause a lot of chaos for our men. However, Alexandros and Fabio did not take advantage of the chaos they caused. They should have been more offensive in the Horse Archer War, for example. Fabio should have sent pikemen to Alexandros during the Horse Archer War, so that we were not able to rush at their men with our own chariots. So I hope you guys learned something of this. I hope you guys learned about fighting against chariots, because for some weird reason a lot of people think that chariots are overpowered, which in my opinion chariots are not overpowered, because they could be countered pretty easily. Well, they could be countered by archers, by a lot of archers, for example. They could also be countered by using a chariot faction of your own. They could also be countered by choosing a phalanx heavy faction. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you comment. I hope you rate or subscribe. I hope you enjoyed watching. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.